want total control. A digital prison where you own nothing, where every move you make is tracked, monitored, and dependent on government handouts. They are building a world where freedom is an illusion, where compliance is rewarded, and questioning the system makes you an outcast. But here's what they don't understand. When people have nothing left to lose, they stop being afraid. When they are pushed to the brink, when survival is no longer guaranteed, something shifts. The fear that once kept them in check disappears, and in its place comes clarity, rage, and resistance. They think they can trap us forever. They think they can keep us distracted, divided, and weak. But history has shown that when control becomes absolute, people wake up. The illusion shatters. The game is exposed. And when that happens, the breakout is inevitable. They don't fear compliance. They fear what happens when we stop playing their game.
The truth is, the truth doesn't exist anymore, right? No one is telling us the truth. The government isn't telling us the truth. The media isn't telling us the truth. Nobody is telling us the truth. All we can do is see what's going on, boots on the ground, right? All we can do is guesstimate, really. All we can do is use our real world perspective, use discernment, right? Really look around and see what's going on. The truth doesn't exist anymore, right? And truth be told, the future is going to look really, really ugly. And I remember watching a movie about this, right? It was a movie about social media, right? It was a movie about social media. I believe I seen it on Netflix. I watched it on Netflix or I watched it on YouTube. But overall, and this was like 2-3 years ago, it was talking about how everybody will be in their own bubble, right? It was talking about, and this was probably before the first Trump campaign, right? Or the first Trump presidency. It was talking about how in the future there would be extreme political instability in the West, right? It was talking about how nobody will interact with each other in the future. It talked about people not trusting one another, right? It spoke of these bubbles, right? These social media bubbles, right? The people over here, they believe in one thing, right? The people over here, they believe in the flat earth. The people over there, they believe in a round earth. The people over there, they believe that, China is bad. The people over there, they believe China is good. Listen, we are now in a space where everybody think they're all right.
This is a Roman salute. Now, it's clearly the end salute. Wrong. This is an Asperger's syndrome gesture. This trick is called narrative contingency framing. It's a scientific method used by mass media to manipulate you into believing anything as truth. Open your fridge. You didn't freely choose these foods. Someone framed them as superfoods or low carb or raw paleo. So you bought a narrative, not the food. The same goes for your wardrobe. You bought certain clothes because media framed them as old money or quiet luxury or clean girl aesthetics. Look at this sharp ironic crease in my pants. The media framed it as a symbol of old money because that's how rich people's tailors iron their pants. So I bought them believing they would make me look more classy and elegant. This guy is clearly a murderer, but some extremists frame him as a rebel against the system. And if you scroll through certain corners of TikTok, you'll find women framing him as bad boy thirst trap. Even this video might be my attempt to frame myself as a smart guy worth following. But in the end, the ultimate decision of what the frame is should be yours. Because as Elon Musk said, you are the media now.
We now live in a world where the truth, quite frankly, doesn't matter. Now it's about who is right, right? Even being wrong, it is now about who is right, right? Even when they're dead wrong. even in the midst of them being dead wrong. Because here's the thing too, right? We talked about idiocracy, right? We talked about how intellect, right? Mindfulness, true consciousness is no longer respected, right? It is no longer, looked at as, high esteem in Western society, which is kind of crazy because we are considered the developed world, right? We're considered the developed world. So why don't we hold intellect to a high esteem? Why don't we hold high consciousness to a high esteem? Well, truly, Americans have been dumbed down to the max, right? Truly, Americans don't think about anything. Truly, Americans rather have everybody else do the thinking for them. This is real America, right? Most Americans, I'm sorry to say, or not really sorry to say, but most Americans are quite frankly dumb. Most Americans are retarded. Most Americans do not think. Most Americans do not care about the facts. They don't care about the statistics. They don't care about the actual truth. They just care about being right. And this goes for all sides, right? This goes for the entire spectrum. See, this is why this is the after pill, because I just don't talk about one side things. I just don't keep it one-sided, right? Y'all hear me all the time. I talk about the male side and I also talk about the female side, right? I talk about the entire thing because here's the thing about the truth. Here's the thing about life. Life is full circle, right? A multitude of things can be true at once, right? Many things can be true at once, right? But overall, with the mass media, propaganda, we truly never know if we're being programmed, right? We truly never know who's doing the thinking for us, right? And here's the thing. Here's another thing. Most of the things that most people think, they're not thoughts of their own, right? I'm sure y'all knew that. Most of the thoughts, especially with normie people, and I'm not exempt either, right? I'm not exempt. If you count the times from when I was born, being in the public indoctrination camps all the way up until now, yes, I've had my fair share of programming too, right? And I'm looking to buy myself out and deprogram myself, but that's another conversation, right? But most of us have been programmed since a child, right? Most of us have been programmed since a very small and young age, right? The thoughts that you think, they're not of your own, right? The thoughts that you think, they're not of your own consciousness, right? You got to think all of the things that you've consumed, all of the things that you've watched. Think about all of the TV shows that you've watched. Think about all of the subliminals that you've watched over time, including me, right? You know how many Family Guy episodes I've watched while being underage? You know how many South Park episodes I've watched, right? You know how many Disney shows I've watched? Do you know how many SpongeBob episodes I've watched, right? And if I were to, because this happens to me all the time, if I were to watch something, right, that I was watching as a child, I'll catch something, right? Immediately. Because now I think on a whole different spectrum, right? I think on a whole different spectrum now. If I were to watch any one of those shows right now, I'd catch something that I didn't catch as a child, right? And it doesn't matter if it's Family Guy, South Park, or SpongeBob, right? Or whatever on the spectrum. It doesn't matter. I'll catch something like, dang, That's what they were talking about, right? And this is why I always rewatch The Matrix, right? The first Matrix. I always rewatch The Matrix because I feel like there's always something that I've missed, right? And lo and behold, there's going to be something, little subtle signs, little things that you may not have paid attention to before, right? Small things that you didn't pay attention to before. See, those were the times of great movies. The Matrix was a great movie, right? Those were times that, the little things that the directors and the creators put in, it mattered and it made the movie everything, because every time you watch, you were like, damn, I didn't catch that the last time, right? You never watched a movie that you haven't seen in 2 years and then you realize, oh, I had it all wrong, right? This is programming. This is how most people are today, right? They don't deprogram themselves. Or better yet, most people can't deprogram themselves. We underestimate how powerful programming is today. We underestimate the power of propaganda today, right? We don't know what's true, right? We don't know what's what. We don't know whose side who's on, right? We don't know who's the good guys. We don't know who's the bad guys, right? See, they think that's the good guy, right? They think that's the good guy. Hold up, but they think that's the bad guy. Wait, they think that's the good guy. They think that's the bad guy. Which way do I turn? Right? How do I? Yes. That is the point, though. That is the whole purpose. It is to cause chaos and confusion, right? And the truth is somewhere buried down in the hay. The truth is somewhere buried down somewhere like a needle in a haystack. The truth is somewhere. The truth is somewhere in there. But you have to go digging for it. You have to dig through all the propaganda. You have to dig through all of the BS news, the BS mass media, right? You got to assume everybody's lying to you, right? You have to cross-reference everything, right? Because a lot of times they are lying to us. And it's getting scary. It's getting scary out here, right? Because no longer are they using the mass media. No longer are they using the mass media. Now they are using social media, right? They're using social media, both foreign and domestic. Both foreign and domestic enemies are using social media. This is why everybody's looking at everybody up and down. This is why socializing has come to a complete halt. This is why no one trusts one another. This is why people literally can stay in whole neighborhoods, right? People literally stay in whole complexes and have never met their neighbor. We stay in a zero trust society, right? No one trusts you because they don't know what you believe. They don't know what you think, right? Nobody trusts me because they don't know what I believe. They don't know how I think, right? All they got to do is watch the after pill to figure that out. But upon meeting me, upon seeing me, they don't know my views. They don't know my takes. They don't know what my ideology is. So people assume the extremes, right? We no longer stay in a world where people are level-headed, right? We no longer stay in a world of moderation, right? We stay in a world of extremes, right? If you're not extreme on this side, well, you're probably extreme on this side. There are very few people who are in the middle, like the after pill, who are observing everybody at war with each other. There are very few people, right? There are very few people who realize, oh, this is a rigged game. There are very few people who realize, oh, they are playing all of us, right? And it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to look around and see that the game is being played on a large scale, right? It doesn't take rocket science to figure this out, but here's the thing, right? They've made sure to make people not think. They've made it clear for people to choose sides. They understand the fragile nature of most human beings, especially in America, right? America is extremely polarizing, right? Nobody agrees with nobody. Nobody agrees with nobody. We're separated on the basis of race. We're separated on the basis of religion. We're separated on the base of political affiliation. We're separated on the base of rainbow and straight, right? We're separated on the base of gender, right? Male or female, right? We're separated on every possible thing that you can think of. We're separated on. Tax the rich, don't tax the rich, separated on. Right? Abortion, no abortion, separated on. Eggs, separated on. The price of eggs, separated on. Right? Walmart, separated on. Amazon, separated on. We're separated on everything. And it's all by design. And it's all made to make you or not make you be able to figure it out. Right? It's not made to figure. Very few people are realizing what is happening. Very few people are realizing that it's all a game. Very few people are seeing the smoke screen for what it is. A smoke screen. Very few people. Right? And there's a mix of willful ignorance and plain out ignorance. Most people haven't used their minds since 6th grade. Most people in America don't read above a 6th grade level. Right? Many people in America are illiterate. Right? Many people in America lack problem-solving skills. Many people in America are just plain old workers. Right? Many people in America went through the public indoctrination camps, so they were just trained to go to work, not to think, feed themselves, and breathe and put air into their lungs. Right? That's all. Many people weren't raised to think. Many people were raised to be slaves. Right? Many people were raised to believe that the media is telling the truth and the whole truth. So help them God. That's what they were raised to believe. They were raised to believe, no, Fox News, they're not doing propaganda. Fox News is telling us the truth. Oh, CNN, they're not picking a side. They're telling us the truth. MSNBC, oh, they don't pick sides. They're telling us the truth. Well, my question is, if everyone is telling the truth, then who is lying? If everyone is telling the truth, then who the hell is lying? Right? Well, guess what? It's not meant to figure out who's lying. Everybody is in bed with each other, right? Everybody is passing along money amongst themselves, right? The rich, the upper echelon. Everybody is he and ha-ha. right? They don't care about us. They don't care about what we have going on. They want us to continue to be distracted. They're going to continue to run the propaganda machine. They don't give a damn. They don't want most of us to think. They don't want you to take the after pill. They don't want that. Taking the after pill is truth, right? It's the truth waking up to the lies. They don't want you to take the after pill. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to come to these realizations. They don't want you to know that it was rigged from the very jump. They need you distracted. That's how they keep you on the hamster wheel. They need to run the propaganda. That's how they keep us divided, right? What happens when we wake up? What happens when we wake up? If we ever wake up. Well, maybe that is when we see true prosperity. We won't see prosperity no time soon on a massive level. We won't. Because people are too dumb to realize that they're so dumb or have been so dumb this whole time. They're so busy picking sides, so busy being divided on dumb things that they don't even realize that your next man relates to you 99%, right? Your neighbor, you and your neighbor have most things in common, believe it or not. Most people have most things in common. But see, here's the thing about Americans, right? Americans prefer to be divided. Americans prefer to hate one another, right? Americans prefer to pick a team. That's why, like, have you ever seen football fans? That's why football fans are so violent, right? They're so violent, right? Or not just football, American teams in general, right? That's why people go so hard for their team. That's why people go so hard for sports, right? We've been programmed to pick sides. We've been programmed for the divisiveness. It starts from a little young person, right? It's the little things. It's the subtle things. It's the minuscule things like sports. That's why I don't get into sports anymore. I haven't watched sports like that in years, right? I haven't picked a team in years. Right? I don't even watch that stuff. I don't even get into all of that stuff because it's programming you to pick sides. It's programming you for the divisiveness. It's programming you to be the exact person that they need you to be. And that's an after pill. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.